Well, I have 7. Shall we start? I have 7:01. We're late. Welcome, everybody. This is fun. I'm really excited about having these 2 fine young teenagers with us. I just wanted to give you a little, well, first of all, introduce you a little bit to Gavin, who's been a scout since, what'd you say, 3rd grade?
Yes, I've moved to 3rd grade.
And he goes to Berlin, right? Isn't that the new one?
Yep.
Yes.
The newest one?
Yep.
And Abbie, and I keep saying Gabby, getting half of Gavin's name. Abbie Oglibee at Powell-Liberty.
No, you can't say
And you tell me since 1st grade you were in the Scout. So just give you a little background. You may kind of wonder why we're doing a scouting program for the Historical Society. But last year, Gavin's troop came to do a lot of work, didn't they, Carol? All kinds of things for the house here today, outside, clean up and scrubbing the porch steps and whatever. And then, about the same time, off the street comes Abbie. She appeared on the scene and she had some interest in volunteering with the Historical Society. So I think maybe it was Carol, was it your idea first? I think maybe.
What was the idea, Linda?
It was a good idea.
It was a wonderful
I think it was somebody that came to a program here and somebody that knew you and she referred you to.
Michelle.
Michelle, yeah, from Garden Club. Yeah.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
Michelle.
It was Michelle, I think, so. And anyway, to make a long story short here, we thought it would be nice to honor and feature scouting in the Powell community. So here we are, and I guess Abbie's going first. So.
Okay.
Welcome, Abbie.
Sorry. Okay. Hi, my name is Abbie Oglibee, and you guys already know that I'm a Girl Scout, and I have been a Girl Scout since 1st grade, making this my 11th year of being in the Scouts, so it's pretty crazy. My official title is Girl Scout Ambassador. That means I'm in my junior year of high school, so next year I'll be a Girl Scout Senior Ambassador, which is really crazy, because I feel like I was a daisy yesterday. Yeah. So Girl Scouts has changed a lot since 107 years ago when it was first founded. So who here was a Girl Scout or Girl Scout leader? Yeah! So you guys can call me out if any of my information is a little incorrect, but I did some research, so. With the amount of meetings I attended when I was younger, I have the Girl Scout pledge memorized. It's just permanently in my subconscious. And it probably is in some of yours. I know Miss Carmichael knows it. We've done it a few times. But I thought it'd be fitting to start off my presentation by giving it. So if you know it, please join me. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. Okay, now for some history about Girl Scouts. The Girl Scouts was founded only 3 years after Boy Scouts in March of 1912, and the Girl Scouts' original goal was to give back to the community and to prepare girls for womanhood, and because women in the early 1900s, their main goal in life was to stay home. They were expected to take care of their family. So Girl Scouts was a program that taught useful skills like sewing, cooking, basic first aid, and prepared girls for the future. Unlike Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts focused on more indoor things and helping out in the community rather than outdoors and working with nature as Boy Scouts originated. But Girl Scouts have always used the scouting program as a platform to speak out, and although they weren't super into getting involved with nature, the same things Boy Scouts was, they were still combating social issues, so it was pretty cool. I went through, did some research about early impact Girl Scouts made, and in the 1930s, Girl Scouts helped collect clothing and food for those in need during the Great Depression. In the 40s, Girl Scouts helped with war efforts by collecting fat and scrap metal, and sponsored and attended survival war skill classes for women. In the 50s, Girl Scouts collected and donated supplies to women citizens and Korean citizens and began to break racial barriers in the Asian American community. In the 60s, Girl Scouts sought to fight for racial equality. In the 70s, we fought to make our government acknowledge we are in an environmental crisis and to stop dumping toxic liquids into lakes and releasing too much gas. So that was pretty cool. Those were some of the big things that Girl Scouts stood for, and we still stand for many things today. Throughout the years, though, something has stayed the same. Girl Scout community gives girls a voice and gives them a platform, and trying to make girls stand up and feel more powerful themselves. Today, Girl Scouts is tackling another issue, and that's in the divide between male and female scientists and engineers. So Girl Scouts has noticed that there are not a lot of girls, young girls and older girls interested in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So a lot of girls don't go to college for that, and a lot of girls aren't very interested in that. So Girl Scouts is trying to get them interested at a young age to further integrate fields that are mainly run by men, which I think is really cool. So when I was younger, I attended a lot of programs that helped me get excited for a future in the medical field. So that's pretty cool. But common goals such as developing leadership skills and helping the community will forever be a heart of the Girl Scouts. So being a Girl Scout has really impacted me as a person. My mom has always been my Girl Scout troop leader, so I've always been extra into scouting, which is a blessing. In today's Girl Scouts troops, girls can go on journeys. In a journey, you go to the Girl Scout main office and they give you like a binder of, you pick a specific activity, like whether it be helping out at like a dog pound or helping out a local food pantry, and it gives lessons you can teach the girls that retain to real life and help them develop skills like speaking in public or going up asking if they can help. So it's pretty cool. Each journey takes a couple weeks and requires a certain amount of service hours. So it's cool. It's kind of like a mini Gold Award project, which I'll talk about later. But you do them as you get older in scouting, and it helps you build up confidence and independence to eventually do it on your own. So all journeys so far I've done with my troop. So I've been doing them since I was a daisy, through brownies as a junior cadet, a senior cadet, and an ambassador. And I still plan to do them as a senior ambassador next year, because it's just a fun way to impact the community with your troop. It's not as big of a commitment as doing something on your own, like achieving your silver or gold award. The whole troop can go on journeys, like I said again. Some journeys I went on were going to a service animal shelter to work on just volunteer hours and getting to know the animals, so that was really cool. I also faced some of my fears with my troop. I've gone rappelling, rock climbing, hiking, so it's been really fun. But enough about the history of Girl Scouts. Besides selling cookies, my Girl Scout troop has helped me develop into a strong, independent member of society. Over the years, my leaders have taught me to give back to the community and to respect those who came before me. And I've developed many leadership skills and qualities that I use in school, and every day I try to use in the community. So, pretty cool. The Gold Award was introduced in the 1980s, and that's what I'm here today to talk to you about. It's currently the highest award you can receive as a Girl Scout, and it's the highest honor. The Girl Scout Gold Award requires 3 key parts of leadership to obtain it. You have to discover a local problem or global problem that can be feasibly solved. You have to connect to the community, go out of your comfort zone, contact people you wouldn't normally contact, and find people who are willing to help make a change. And the third part is to take action and to find solutions. And just ultimately impact the public and inform the community about this issue. So receiving the Gold Award is definitely not an easy task. It takes 80+ hours of service, working in the house, or whatever your project is. You have to give a lot back to the community to get awarded it. And it's pretty daunting because Ohio Heartland Girl Scout Association comes and they'll rank my project and see if I get the Gold Award. So even if I put in all this work, I might not even get it. So that's kind of scary. But so I'm gonna just talk about how I got the idea to help the Historical Society. So I was searching in June of 2019 for my Gold Award project because I knew I really wanted to do it, but I only had a year and a half left, so I was looking for something that I could develop and that already had a platform. So I came up with some interesting ideas. My first was a campaign to preserve bees in Central Ohio. Yeah, it's very popular, so that one was already taken.
For silver.
Yeah, bees are very popular in Ohio apparently. The second idea, I wanted to create a club for service dog owners, but that just ended up being fun and didn't have a huge impact on the community. So I even considered trying to get my school to switch to biodegradable silverware and plates, but again, that was too much money. So I had to think of something that I could feasibly do and that would impact not only my community, but people in the future, because the main goal of the Gold Award is to have a lasting effect. So I asked my troop leader, Michelle, if she could help me brainstorm some more ideas, and that's when she told me about the Martin Perry Historical Society. I remembered visiting this historical society when I was a Daisy Scout, so that was like 10 years ago. So it was pretty crazy to think about it, but I've always been really into history, and I loved coming here. I remembered seeing all the pretty wallpaper and like all the really interesting exhibits that I could actually touch, and that was like a huge thing when I was little, because most of the time when you go to like museums or when you learn about things, you're not allowed to touch them, you have to stay very still. But at the Martin Perry house, I could go around into each room and like look at whatever I wanted. So that stuck with me for a really long time. So I started brainstorming, and my troop leader put me in contact with Miss Carmichael, who kindly agreed to become my mentor. And I'll be forever grateful for the amount of patience and time Miss Carmichael put into helping me.
She's great.
She graciously worked around my busy schedule and has helped me stay on focus and top of my game. She's made this super overwhelming process of achieving my Gold Award, like, it feels like I can actually do it when I was super overwhelmed at first, so she's just been great. So, as I mentioned earlier, the issue I wanted to address with the Historical Society was I had really not heard anything about it since I was little. Like, when my troop leader mentioned it to me, I was like, wow, is that place still around? Because I hadn't heard of any programs for young adults and teenagers, because I knew they still did programs for younger kids to come in, and I knew they had meetings, but I hadn't heard of anything where people my age could come, or nothing was like focused on this age group. So I started talking to Ms. Carmichael, and we started brainstorming ideas to get younger generations more involved and to care more about preserving the history of Powell. So we came up with some ideas. We were going to host an open house, which we did. That was last Sunday, and it was pretty successful. A lot of people came. And the goal was to have me present and give tours. So Ms. Carmichael, with her extensive knowledge of the house, taught me everything there is about every room. And I picked like it took a couple hours, but there's a lot of things to learn. And I retained a little bit of the information, just a little bit. She helped me a lot, but I tried to cater it towards my audience and make it things that I found really interesting about the house. I focused in on those because I knew people my age would also find those things interesting. So I thought that was pretty cool. So we also came up with the idea to do more hands-on activities at the Martin Perry house because, again, when I was younger, I loved that I could touch things, come in, and just like look around. So we came up with the idea to do a quill making class where we learn how to write with quills and make them. And that was supposed to happen yesterday, but some things got turned around. But we're still going to do programs like that in the future. And we're going to try and get more kids in here because I know the history club at my school is really interested in that. And it brings more people, like when I tell people about it, they're like, oh, I want to go to that, because it's not just like a tour of the house. It's like you get to take something home afterwards, and it's something cool. So we thought that would be something cool to bring into the Historical Society. And we also talked about doing some summer camp activities over the summer, so bringing in more of the upper middle school age kids, so it's a little younger than I want, but we're going to bring some of them back into the Historical Society. So I thought that was pretty cool. But we're still in the planning process for everything. I'm definitely not near finished with my project, so we're gonna keep working, coming up with more ideas, and brainstorming. But last thing, why in the world would I have spent all this time to get my Gold Award project? Well, the Gold Award is designed to get people out of their comfort zones and to get them involved in the community. And as I said earlier, Girl Scouts has been training me for this award since I was a daisy, with giving our troop leaders journeys for me to go on and as a troop. So I've always been given a book and told exactly what to do, how to document my service hours. But now, doing the Gold Award, it's like I make my own journey, and I have to plan accordingly. I have to become more mature and respond to emails, though I don't always respond right away. I really try. So it's really taught me to just become more responsible and mature in general. So I think that's really cool. And I viewed this project as a way to make a difference in my community while still young, and to help bring new perspectives into Old Powell and get people my age interested so we can further preserve the history. The Gold Award has some objective benefits as well. A lot of colleges offer scholarships for Gold Award recipients, and it's honored all over America. And if I were to join the armed forces, I'd immediately be moved up a couple ranks just in honor of my award. So I think that's really cool. And it's something I can only achieve when I'm this age and now, so I don't want to regret not doing it in the future. I think it'll be super cool to look back and be like, that's what I did. So I think that's super cool. I'm super excited to continue to work with Ms. Carmichael to get more of the younger generations involved with the Historical Society, and I'm excited to do more programs. So thank you so much.
Gavin, you're on.
So hello, my name is Gavin Bull. I'm a Star Scout in Troop 428, and this is a presentation about Scouts BSA. So, a little bit of history actually before we start off this presentation. Boy Scouts or Scouts BSA was founded by a man named Robert Baden-Powell, who went over to London, Great Britain, and he was going to see some places, go do some things, and went through the woods and got lost. But luckily there was a young child there that helped him find his way back to town. And so Mr. Powell tried to compensate and reward this kid, but he said, no, I refuse to get rewarded. This was my good turn daily for being a scout. And Mr. Powell was extremely inspired by this, and he brought that ideology back to America, where he founded Boy Scouts, which was focused on good, high morality, being good citizens, and working in the wilderness. So Scouts BSA, or previously Boy Scouts of America, is the largest scouting organization in the country. Its purpose is to teach kids from 11 to 17 all about life skills, wilderness tips, and general high ethics and morality. There are several unique opportunities that come along in scouting, many of which will be in this presentation. So, the difference between what happened to Boy Scouts of America is, it used to be Boy Scouts of America for a long time, I believe up to 2017, and that's when it went co-ed, meaning that now girls could go and do the Boy Scout curriculum, basically, and that's when they switched the name to Scouts BSA. And then, key components of Boy Scouts, in my opinion, is there are two main aspects of what Scouts BSA is. The number one is that it is a youth-led organization. Many leadership positions and decisions that go into the troop are decided and run by the actual youth themselves. And then adults are only there for mentoring, guiding, and then legal reasons. The second learning, life skills, that's the main point, the second main point. Everything we do is focused around preparing ourselves not only to be functional, but exemplary members of society. We practice good leadership skills, problem solving, teaching methods, work ethics, and much, much more to greatly improve and help one in future careers. So the basic structure of how Boy Scouts work is that scouts in a local area are put into things called troops. As I said, I'm in Troop 428. This is the basic unit of Scouts BSA. As a troop is, they range in size, depending on how many kids join scouting and how many kids are in that area. So they can be from a dozen, which is I guess the average size, to ours, which is about 100, so a little bit more than the average. And inside of a troop, for big ones especially, like ours, it's divvied up into patrols, which is to help distribute and manage such a large number of scouts. I, for instance, am in the laser turkey patrol. There's our patch right there. Let's see. So the way a troop operates varies between each troop. The things I'm going to tell is how my troop operates. They can be very much different from if you were a Boy Scout, how your troop operated. But the way my troop operates, we have a troop meeting every Monday from 7 to 8. So that's when all the scouts come together, and that's when they plan a camp out. We use these meetings to help prepare ourselves for whatever that next camp out may be. Every camp out, which we have every month, is always around a certain skill, whether it be canoeing, rappelling, whatever. So, continuing on that, the way we actually prepare for said camp out is through the troop meetings and things called programs and activities. So one patrol is going to be in charge of what's called program, which is when they present the skill to all the other scouts and how to do a certain skill. If it's rappelling, for instance, then they would talk about how to tie rappelling knots, how to properly rappel down a cliff, things of such nature. Then activity is after the program, and activity is run by another patrol, and they have an actual hands-on thing you do that is also related to the theme of the camp out. So if it's rappelling, they might give you a carabiner and rope and tell you how to tie the actual knots, and you do it hands-on. So, PLC. Every second Monday of the month, our troop doesn't actually have a troop meeting, but PLC, which is what I should be at right now, but I'm here right now. PLC stands for what's called Patrol Leaders Council. This is when all the scouts with a leadership position come together and discuss the past, present, and future events. In the PLC, the rules and regulations of each troop are decided and edited, and this is where the campouts are logistically planned along with much more sort of behind-the-scenes stuff. So, patrol meetings. Every so often, we'll have a patrol meeting. This is where the entire troop does not meet together, but the patrol does for a sort of mini PLC, where they can either plan any program or activity that's upcoming, or talk about what they're going to do for the next camp out. Also, afterwards, what a lot of patrols usually do is, after the meeting, they go and do some fun activity together. So, in Scouts, one of the main things is ranking to show your progression, and it's one of the main, I guess, pillars of what Boy Scout is. You need to complete certain criteria for each rank. Going up in rank opens up more possibilities and opportunities for you, both inside of Scouting and out. It starts down at Scout, then goes up Tenderfoot, second class, first class, and then the top three, Star, Life, and then up top, Eagle. So the Scout is not that difficult to get. It shows the basic, you understand the basic fundamentals of what Scouts BSA is. You recite key things like the Scout Oath and the Scout Law, you tie really basic knots, and a little bit more. And then, so the next three ranks, this should be ranks, spelled typo. So Tenderfoot, second class, first class, these are all three centered around building up your basic wilderness skill set and how to do very basic things. So for Tenderfoot, you learn simple first aid, more, I guess, advanced knots, camping and hiking techniques, and then some more things. In second class, you expand on what you've already learned, along with going into cooking, navigation, and other branches of previously learned topics. And then finally, in first class, the final rank where you have specific requirements of skills you have to learn, you expand once again on the topics you already learned, and then going into things like aquatic, lashings, and a few others. Finally, before we get into the top three ranks, I should probably mention something called merit badges, which I have right here on my sash. They're basically the next ranks require merit badges, and merit badges are basically, I guess you call them, crash courses in a certain hobby, job, occupation, field of whatever. And there are currently 135 merit badges you can take. There are two types of merit badges as well, Eagle required and non-Eagle required. So Eagle required merit badges are very specific ones you have to get to obtain the rank of Eagle, Eagle required. These are things like camping, cooking, first aid, and more. I have, I believe, six I have right now. I have first aid, emergency preparedness, citizenship in the community, nation, environmental science, and then swimming. And then I need 7 more to fully get Eagle. The next one are all these other ones called non-Eagle required. They're also important as well. You need to get a certain number of them, but you can take whatever you want. And they really range from basically, if you can think of a big job or occupation, there's most likely going to be one. Some of the ones I took: space exploration, fingerprinting, music, movie making, small boat sailing, archery, aviation. They have a huge range of topics you can take. So the rank I am currently at is Star. So you need to earn 4 of those Eagle required and then 2 non-Eagle required merit badges. You also need to hold what's called a leadership position in the troop for at least 4 months. I'll get into a position. It's basically a position in troop. It is a specific role you undertake to help maintain the troop. It is youth-led, after all. So leadership positions, there's a bunch of them, but I should not do them quickly. There are lots of leadership positions in Scouts BSA. First up, the big one is patrol leaders, which I was last, what's called term. It's when one takes care of, maintains, and conducts a patrol and helps them run smoothly. Then, what I am currently now is quartermaster. These people are what maintain and take care of the troops' equipment, like camp gear, cook gear. If they have a trailer to transport it, they run and operate the trailer if anyone needs anything. Then troop guides are people that gradually integrate the new scouts that just joined Boy Scouts into Boy Scouts. This is a big leap, a really large leap. They spend a few months with them trying to teach them the basic fundamentals and things like that. And then the final few, there's the big, basically president of the troop is the SPL, Senior Patrol Leader. They're the overseer and conductor of the troop as a whole. Their jobs and requirements are similar to that of a patrol leader, but just taken up a notch and over the entire troop. Then ASPLs, or Assistant Senior Patrol Leaders, are people that help out the SPL with specific items and certain branches, like you could say. There's an ASPL of rank advancement, ASPL of troop guides, and a lot more. They help lighten the burden, basically. And then there are several other, just about a dozen, I'd say, more smaller positions in the troop. You could be a bugler, scribe, librarian, webmaster. All are important. Life. This is the one I should be getting in April, I believe. Life is basically a repeat of the STAR requirements, except for a few differences. You only need 3 Eagle required merit badges instead of 4, and you need 6 months of a leadership position, not 4. But this is not that hard to get, since a term of a leadership position is already 6 months. It's no real problem. Also, you need to teach a younger scout a certain skill using the EDGE method, which is basically our way of teaching things. And then finally, the big honcho, there's the Eagle. You once again need to be in a leadership position for 6 months, get the 6 final Eagle required merit badges, and 4 non-Eagle required merit badges you need to get. Finally, what makes getting Eagle notorious and what really sets it above the others is what's called the service project. It's similar to the gold project. I don't believe it's a bit smaller in scale, but it's where a scout has to completely plan, develop, and execute a service project that impacts the community in a positive way. It can be repainting a fence, building benches, or anything else that are approved by the adult leaders that give it the green light. The scout cannot have someone else do it for them. It is all on their own. making it the greatest requirement a scout needs to accomplish. With scouting, there's also a bunch of other smaller scouting programs you can also take. The biggest one, first off, basically every country in the world has their own form of scouting. They differ in the way they operate and things like that, but they all have the same goal, which is to teach young children how to be a good citizen. In America, we have about 2 others, I believe, big scouting programs. The larger one is called venturing. This is where you join at age 14 and what's called age out at age 21, where you can't be in it anymore. Crews, which is the equivalent of troops, are much more focused on a single activity, which put them apart from troops, which do a broad range of things. They can be hiking, or what my troop does, indoor shooting. And let's see, there's also Sea Scouts, another 14-year to 21-year program, and by its name, it's much more focused on aquatic activities like boating, fishing, things of this sort. High Adventures, this is the highlight of someone's Boy Scouts experience. These are the top tier camping trips. My troop goes to the 3 most popular. The first one is called Sea Base. It's when a scout during the summer goes down to Florida and goes in a boat for a week and does a bunch of fun things on said boat. Next is Northern Tier, which I'm doing this summer. It's when you spend about 10 days up in southern Canada and northern Montana, and you go hiking and canoeing, and supposedly it's very, very fun. But the greatest of them all is called Philmont. This is when you go down to New Mexico and hike in a special Boy Scout park for 2 weeks, and it is one of basically the most hyped up, biggest things of a Boy Scout experience, just because of how fun it is and the amazing sights. It's great. NYLT is National Youth Leadership Training, right here. It's a special course scouts can take if they want to learn how to properly, basically be good leaders, either that be through presentation, problem solving, resolving conflicts, things like that. In Ohio, there are 3 courses for scouts to take. There's Nagatamen, there's True North, and then the one over at Lazarus. There's also one called Green Bar, which is the NYLT course for adults. I actually took the Lazarus one in 2019, and I'm currently staffing at it for the 2020 season, I guess. So why should someone join Scouts? Why should your child or grandchild join into Scouting? A great reason to join Scouts is for the rank of Eagle. Reaching Eagle is a big, big accomplishment, like the Gold Project we talked about. It shows you have a great work ethic and mindset, you know how to be a good citizen and employee, and it shows that you are a good leader and a great helper. And as such, colleges and employers really are fond of seeing something like this on a resume and more like to hire someone with it. Even if you don't reach Eagle, the skills and memories you make along the way are truly everlasting and really, really amazing for someone to have when going into adulthood. So, Scouts BSA has been a defining feature of my life. You can see that's me about 11 years old. I looked different back then. I've strived to make every meeting, every camp out, every event I possibly could. I've invested greatly into Scouting, taking a leadership position, going to an NYLT course, and even staffing at one. I highly recommend Scouts BSA for any young child, as it is a true life changer. Thank you.
Very nice, thank you to both. Now,
How old are you,
any
Gavin?
questions?
I'm 15 years old.
Sophomores?
Freshman.
Did you put that presentation together yourself?
Yeah.
Good job, very thorough.
Thank you.
Top to bottom, nice.
And you helped us in what way?
So when I was patrol leader, I was trying to get something called Honor Patrol, which is when you get a little star, like a little star patch right around here. I didn't get it, unfortunately. I got really close, but you need a certain amount of kids in proper uniform, and we didn't reach that percentage, unfortunately. But one of the things was to have a service project done. And so how do we learn about the
Mr. Muskoff?
Yeah, I think one of the adult leaders talked about how the Powell-Historical Society is always looking for some help, so we went over and communicated with them, and they said it'd be awesome if we helped outside with a lot of like weed pulling and I mowed the lawn, stuff like basic outdoor maintenance. So I, with my patrol, came over, spent about 2 hours working on just clearing out all the nasty stuff. Then I mowed the lawn for them, and then that was the service project. And then they asked me if I wanted to make a presentation to basically honor it. And I'm like, sure. And then made it, and here I am.
That's great. We appreciate it.
Well, I'm observing with both of your mothers here and hearing about, your being here before with other family members. What impact do you think a family has on a child's success moving through the scouting programs?
If Mom was not up my butt about a couple things, I might not have been as good. It is the first few years of scouting, I know, especially when you hit Boy Scouts and get a lot more responsibility, is definitely the make it or break it part of Scouts. If you make it, and it's basically home free if you stick with it. But she really did help me get through the basic couple of ranks. I remember tenderfoot. There was one requirement where you had to log exercise, and I would not do it forever. Just never did it. And then eventually Mom kept yelling at me enough, so I finally did it. And I got to move on. And she did very much help.
Good job, Mom.
Thank you, Mom.
Well, I think one of the big things is when they get to this age, it has to be they have to want it. There's, it's easier when they're younger to be like, hey, you need to log this. But when they get to this level, I think anything past middle school is kind of, they have to want it. We're just the Uber driver. Luckily ours isn't too far away, but I know he's every month camping and,
If I can.
just this past weekend in the snow out in Dayton.
It's fun.
See ya. I know.
We went to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and did the museum. Very, very interesting stuff. Is anyone here a Boy Scout or was a Boy Scout?
Trustworthy.
Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous,
Scout,
kind,
obedient,
cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
I was
See,
gonna
it's
recite
just
it
like
to
the
you.
Girl Scout, you
That's 60 years ago.
Outdoor
It
code.
stays with you.
That's a new one, the outdoor
Outdoor code.
code,
Do
the
you know
outdoor
that?
ethic code.
Oh,
That's
no.
a new one I have to,
Basically be nice to nature.
yeah.
Okay.
As an American, we've just started learning it. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, to be considerate of the outdoors, and conservation minded.
I don't think that existed when I was a Boy
I think it's
Scout.
new.
It might be new.
Yeah.
Did you do a silver or bronze also?
I did my bronze award, but we decided to do a couple group journeys in place of the silver.
Okay.
So that's what we did instead.
We did, my daughter is in the silver award area now, but so we did a journey this year. They were getting burned out a little bit, so we just did fun things, but then, because we have 3 years to complete it for this one, and so, but yes, she wants to do the honeybees, that's so funny.
Yeah.
She wants to, because she used to be deathly afraid of it, and we went on a Girl Scout over to Stratford, and she learned to not be afraid of bees, and now she's,
Very well.
yeah, she very much loves bees.
Very important.
Yeah, that's what she was, you learn that, but a lot of kids, especially younger girls, are so frightened of them, and it's like,
I got sent once.
yeah, you did.
Really?
I got a question about Girl Scouts. The troop structure, is it, I don't know how Boy Scouts are set up, but are troops in Girl Scouts set up more based on age? Or, I mean, when you have a troop, is it all different ages, or?
No, so each troop, there's not like a huge group like Boy Scouts does. It's like that specific age group in a school. So you can have like, depending on how many Girl Scouts there are, you can have like 3 troops per grade. So it's separated by like grade or like by your rank, because each grade you go up in a rank. So like troops can range from like 10 to like 15, but I know at my school when I was younger, we had like 3 per grade because there were so many of us. Because it's like more small, it's more like it's based around your troop instead of like based around like everybody and the same stuff. Yeah.
And so as girls get older and sometimes they have other interests in sports that take their time away, they tend to kind of consolidate. So girls that once were in separate troops, if they still want to stay in scouting, they'll kind of come together.
Yeah,
So my group now has 6 scouts. I think at one time we had 16 when they were in first grade.
And that's like
So-
from like 4 troops coming together. So
Are they all at Liberty?
yeah.
Yeah. I have like 2 from Hyatt's, 1 from Liberty, 2 from Shanahan, like, because we merged too,
Yeah.
so.
My daughter, she's in the first grade, so she just started out. So I'm trying to understand, you know, how all that works.
One of
Yeah.
the big differences, it's grade levels
Yeah.
Yeah.
versus this, you have to like complete those different things to rank up. With Girl Scouts, once you complete a grade, you're automatically like into that next.
Okay. And the Boy Scouts, there's kind of, it seems to me like more of a distinct cutoff here with Cub Scouts.
Yeah.
And then
There's a crossing over.
the crossing over.
Yeah.
to
You get the arrow light.
Yeah, or
Then
arrow
you-
light, yeah,
Then you have to earn your way up.
yeah.
In Girl Scouts, you kind of can be in Girl Scouts the whole, you rank up, not rank up, because those awards are special.
We flew up.
Yes.
We flew up.
Okay.
We bridged,
Bridged.
yeah.
From brownies to Girl Scouts,
Mhm.
yeah. I wanted to ask Abbie, I think I've asked you this before, have you ever been to a camp, a Girl Scout camp?
I have. So every summer there's Camp Kinjockety. And yes, so I loved it. I only went for 2 years as a camper, but I've gone back every year since and been a counselor. So I get like 50 service hours from that, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, they also did one in Hocking Hills. So like
And
there's
Jockety.
yeah,
Molly Lawman.
yeah. I went to that when I was younger too. So it's really fun. So, yeah, I've been doing a few.
Where is Ken Jockey?
It's in Galloway, Ohio, so southwest side of Columbus.
Okay.
Is that where you went, Sherry?
Yes, it is. I was 12 years old.
Who can spell it?
Wow. Kenjockety is, well, there's a couple,
Two words.
one says Kenjockety, one says Kenjockety, but it's K-E-N hyphen Jockety or Jackety.
Yeah, they call it KJ. And then,
Yeah.
like whatever we
Yeah.
throw. Pretty cool.
My mother back there made me go. I was the only one. The only time in my whole life I've ever been homesick.
We take our troop camping there. It's fun just to go, anybody can rent cabins there and.
Really. I'd like to say that one of the things that Abbie helped us do was to set up a display upstairs. We have a room upstairs that we have a scouting display, and it has Boy Scout as well as the Girl Scout, but it's ancient history stuff. Now, Abbie added some of her new things, but I would highly recommend that you all go up and take a look before you leave to see some of the old scouting things that we have on here. And because you two came, and the person isn't here, but we have a gentleman who grew up here in Powell, and his father was the Boy Scout counselor, and he wants to give us a bunch of his father's things and his things because of this program and seeing the sign. So
very nice.
yeah. So thank you, both of you, for doing this program for us.
Well, I appreciate for him to be able to speak in front. I'm sure you too, like to get experience speaking in front of people is always great. But yeah, and then opportunities. So you have your gold idea. So he's not quite up to Eagle yet. So they were like, well, you know, this house could get painted on the outside. I'm like kicking him like that's an Eagle project.
Well, she's the one that approved it, so I can.
No, I can't approve yours. I'm the committee chair for his Boy Scouts now too, so I'm not allowed to approve it. Yeah.
Can you
Gonna have to work harder.
No nepotism in here.
No.
I think I'd probably be harder on you than I am to them.
Yeah.
I love hearing all the Eagle Scout projects around, and there's some fun ones.
What's
So.
some I volunteered? I volunteered, someone was making blankets for like a cancer hospital, I believe. Someone, Aaron, was making notes for veterans. Let's see, someone built, there's a lot of building benches and, I believe clearing, like rebuilding trails, building a fence for garbage.
Lars did, he put those hammocks over at the hiking place, like a resting place. What's
High Banks?
High Banks.
High Banks.
Yeah. So,
Preservation.
Yeah.
yeah, so he
Parks.
put a bunch of different hammocks or
Uh-huh.
so people can go and rest and lay in the hammocks and enjoy nature. And there's Stratford Ecological has a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good opportunities. So it's fun to see. I wish that I knew more of the Girl Scouts doing the gold stuff. Like I love hearing the different awards.
Oh, Heights Middle School has like a little podium, like it's like next to the school, like that front entrance. There's a little podium memorializing the Eagle Scout project there. I just remember that.
Outside of the building?
Yeah, outside the building, like to the left of the main entrance. There's a little.
A lot of troops will. I know we did our bronze award. We got a Gaga ball pit. Don't ask if you don't know it. I can't even explain it. It's playground equipment for our elementary school. So we raised funds or whatever, and they dedicated it at their elementary school. So it was pretty cool because there's a plaque on it, and they were like super cool kids for as soon as, but then they graduated. But they'll be memorialized there. So it was
Back
fun.
a long time ago, I think it was 1984, there was an Eagle Scout who read, or mapped, I should say, the graves in the Powell-Liberty, or Powell graveyard there, cemetery. And that was, I think that the records had been lost, and so that was a big help. And I believe that that project is going to happen again, needs to be done again, so.
It is happening again.
It is happening again.
I kept it too, Mom.
I really gotta say, you two did a very good job at your public speaking. I was really impressed with how well you all presented your material in front of everybody. Very good job.
Very good.